Well, I did it. I bought another bike. So, unfortunately, my son-in-law's bike's going to have to go, the Vulcan Vaquero. Beautiful bike, but I need the space. So I'm going to be left with my Bolt, and I'm going to be left with my KTM. So what have I bought? I have bought a Honda Goldwing 1800. This is a 2010 model, and it's pretty immaculate for 2010. It needs another clean up. I've gave it a quick clean, but I picked this up yesterday. Yeah, it's a nice bike. I've been looking for one for ages and I've never found one, and I was looking on the Peter Stevens website because I've bought a few bikes from them in Geelong, and this Honda Goldwing came up and I thought yes, and then I saw it was in Adelaide. I thought, bugger hell. So I emailed Adelaide and I spoke to a chap called Damien. If you ever deal with Peter Stevens in Adelaide, Damien, fantastic guy, he sorted all this out for me. I asked him how much it would cost to have the bike shipped to the Geelong store, roadie done, rego put on it into Victorian plates and everything. He gave me a price which was very reasonable, and I says okay, so I sent him the money, and then a week later here I am with a Goldwing. It's very difficult, you know, when you can't see the bike, you can't ride the bike, you can't hear the bike, you don't know whether it's going to be a good buy, a bad buy or whatever. It's just the luck of the draw. But we all buy second-hand bikes, most of us, and the reason I wanted a second-hand Goldwing is I wasn't prepared to pay the money for a new one. 60-year-old now, you know, I've only got a few years left to retire. I don't want to blow all my money on a brand new bike. So I thought KTM, fantastic bike for commuting, but for going out on weekends, Goldwing. So let's see what I bought. So this is the 1800 Goldwing. Seat's very, very comfortable. Very comfortable. I picked this up in Geelong yesterday. I went down on the train with my wife and picked this up, and as you can see, it's got an airbag. Yeah, and it even came with the guy who left the sat nav on it, the previous owner, which is a Garmin Zumo. Very good sat nav, always use Garmin's. Extras on it, it's got the spotlights in the front. Down here, it's got a bra on it as well, which has protected the front. It's slipping a wee bit like the wife, slipping bra. Yeah, I maybe need to adjust that a wee bit. But it's got the bra and the light protectors on it. I've gave them a bit of a clean. ABS, as you can see, you wouldn't buy a bike without it these days. Side stand was a bit stiff, so I WD-40'd it and it works no problem now. Again, the seat's comfortable. It's got a stereo system in it. Of course, you've got all your controls. Some of them have them up here, but because this has the airbag, all the controls are down here and at the other side. So you got your audio, you got your CB, your intercom, your navigation. It does have navigation on there, but I prefer using the Garmin. You got all your preset channels, CD, you can put a CD changer in it. It used to have one, but it's been removed. There's your fog lights for the front or the back, one or the other. Volume, but you've also got it here, you got your CB, volume channel and your squelch. You got your main volume for your speaker system, which are up here and at the back. You got your mute button in case if you're at a toll booth or something, you can mute the stereo, your horn. Zoom in, out, voice guide. I'm not sure what that is yet. This side you got that's your cruise control on and off, your set button or decelerate, accelerate. This is a great wee tool here. This is reverse. So when the engine's running, you want to reverse at a parking space, you press this on, the light will come up on the dash, reverse, and then you just press your reverse button and the bike goes backwards, operated by the starter. Very clever, very clever, and I've used it a couple of times now. So that's your reverse. Sat nav's on here. Your, let me see, your trunk space. You've got a back, as the Americans call it, the back trunk, and you've got the side panniers, and these come, let's see, there's a handle here to open it. To open the, no, it's locked. It locks on remote, so you have to unlock it with the remote. It also has an immobilizer, which is good. There we go, you need 2 hands. So it comes with the trunk with original Goldwing bags, fair size. You get your side panniers, you can open one here, and you got one at that side. And it's got the original Goldwing bags, albeit they could do with a wash. And they've all got sensors on them, so if you leave the trunk open, it actually shows on the dash. That's your aerial for your radio, and there's one for the CB which is disconnected. I think the CB's been taken out. These are your plugs for your intercom. You can buy the proper Honda Goldwing intercom system, fits into your helmet, plug them in so you and your passenger can communicate, listen to music, whatever. What else have we got? Got a seat heater here, so you can switch your seat on to heat up, and your hand grip heater. And on the back here, you've got your heat seater, so Mrs. Biker Dan can turn up the heat in the cold days. You also got wee compartments in here. Don't know what the plug's for, must be an auxiliary. Intercom accessories there. And you got one at the other side there, and also there's a rack on the trunk, so if you want to go camping you can put more on it. The backrest moves around, so when you're getting on you can lower it down or put it back. And there's a wee zippy bag here for your passenger, so she can put stuff, her mobile phone or whatever, into there if she wants to. Fuel tank is here, and it has got the HIS, which is the Honda Ignition Security System, so it locks everything, all the panniers, and it immobilises the bike so nobody can steal it. That's the theory. You got your over here navigation, so you can work your sat nav, the one that's in here. Don't use it, it'll be out of date now anyway. You got your, oh, that's your buttons for it, your map. This one's for your suspension, your rear suspension, so you can do the preset, so you can have it quite soft when you're on your own. When you put a pillion on the back, you can set it up, and it shows you on the screen here, and it stiffens the back end and raises it up a wee bit. What else you got? Headlights, headlight adjustment. That's a headlight adjustment, yeah. So when you have a passenger on, if it's sitting down a bit in the back, you can adjust your headlights so you don't blind people. Well, and that's your preload there, yeah, with your memories, so you can have a one set for you, one set for when you got a passenger on. Yeah, and that's really about all your displays, your trip, your trim, trip, you can reset it. You got these, slacken these off at each side, and you can move your screen up and down. And then this one, open and close. I'll show you what it does. When you open it, you can see there's a wee flap just here. So when you open that, it directs heat at your feet. So if it's a really, really cold day and your feet are freezing, you can flick that on to let the heat to your feet, or if it's summer, you just close it off. And then you got your radiators here, there's one at each side of the bike. And you got this vent here, so you can shut that off or open it up. So on a cold day again, you've got heat coming up to your legs. Oops, nearly dropped the camera. And of course the fairn's quite wide, so when you're sitting here with your feet in the pegs, your legs are shielded completely. And then there's a wee screen here as well to deflect the wind, so you never really get the wind. Although you do have this wee vent on the screen, if you want a wee bit of air, if it's a hot day, you can open that up and it lets a bit hot air get to your face, your chest, whatever. What else can I say about it? The engine. There's 3 cylinders on this side and 3 cylinders on this side, so it's a 6. Some people call it a V6, but it's not really, because a V6, a V, your cylinders are like that. This is more, what is it you call it, horizontal? No, horizontal, vertically, oh, what's the word? It's like the boxer engine. It's really just a boxer engine. You know, it's vertical, parallel thing. And because of that, your ride is so smooth. I mean, 6 cylinders. The engine never toils on this thing. You sit in top gear, you can accelerate away. There's so much power there. Not the fastest bike in the world, but the amount of power with that 6 cylinder is unbelievable. So it's good to ride, really smooth. And what else is there? Oh yeah, the previous owner, highway pegs. Now I don't know about these, but there's a few scrapes on them there. He's obviously been leaning at the corner, so when you're on the highway, instead of your foot sitting on the peg, you can put them up here or rest it like that, whatever. It makes it a wee bit wide, but it's only for the highway. Once you pop these in, the widest part's your mirrors, so when you're fitting through traffic, as long as your mirrors can go through, then the rest of the bike will follow. As you can see, mirror sticks out the most. When you put the highway pegs down, it does stick out 1 inch more than the mirrors, so you have to be wary of that. So, and some people have commented about the Goldwing. It's no good for commuting, it's no good in heavy traffic, you can't filter. I mean, really, if you have a look at the width of that, I mean, the handlebars go out to about the mirrors, and if you look at the width of the KTM, the handlebars, there's not much difference, really. In fact, I'd like to get a measuring tape and measure it at some point. But yeah, there's no problem filtering through traffic. So anyway, I've given it a clean. It looks quite reasonable. I'm just going to go for a ride on it. I'll take you out on a ride at some point. I won't be doing a lot of maintenance on it, because they're pretty maintenance free, these things. That big engine just never wears. The reason, it's got quite a bit of miles on it, but the reason that I bought it is because a lot of Goldwings that I see that are up about 100,000, 200,000, 300, I've seen them at 250,000 up to 1 million miles on it, and they're still going strong, just because of that big powerful engine. It just doesn't wear. It's fantastic. So this one's got about 70,000 on it. The books came with it, you know, the manual came with it, the service book. You know, it's had a lot of the services. I wouldn't say it's had all of them. Obviously the guy's been doing some himself, because there was 3 new oil filters in the trunk, which came in handy. There's a huge big binder as well. It's like a maintenance manual thing. This is like a shop thing, you know, that you would go by if you were stripping the bike down and stripping the engine down, everything. There's one of them with it as well, and it's clean, so it's not been used. Yeah, the guy that had this really looked after it. He must have done a fair bit of touring, because this bike was originally registered in New South Wales at Sydney, and I bought it from Adelaide. Looking at the service record, it's been serviced in Sydney, it's been serviced in Canberra, it's been serviced in Launceston and Tasmania. So the bike's been around a bit, it's done a fair bit of miles, but the guy that had it has looked after it, I must admit, you know. He's not been like me and painted things and cut bits off with a grinder and that sort of thing. He's actually looked after it quite well. So I'm quite happy with that. Don't know, maybe the previous owner's watching this video, I don't know. I don't know why he would sell it, maybe for a new one. I don't know. But I'll see how this goes. I'll do a wee bit touring with my wife and see what she thinks of it. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy, eh? I've got the Jeep sitting here. Perfect machine for touring around Australia, but there's just something about these bikes, especially this. I mean, you know, if you had the choice of touring. To be honest with you, I was just giving it a quick clean, and with all the extras it's got in it, airbags and stuff like that, if you put a roof over it, you could call it a car, because there's not much difference, eh? Anyway, that's a quick tour of the old Goldwing, just to let you see it, and we'll probably have some more videos coming up, and I'll also take it out for a wee blast, see what it's like. It should be good. So watch this channel and you'll see the Goldwing being put through its paces at some point. Anyway, thanks for watching, see you later.